Hello everyone, how are we doing today? So we're back in for the next meeting for the TOC. We've got a couple of items on the agenda. So an update on charters for working groups, support for working group operations, and any other business. So makes sense to start with an update on charters for working groups. Who'd like to go with that one to start with?
Maybe I start with the interfaces working group. So I added all the changes that dropped in the last days, and it's marked it as ready for review, I think 5 days ago. So the question would be whether we are fine now and can merge it, actually.
Yeah, I'm just checking on the PR status. I think might have. Okay. Oh, David and Leah, see, neither of you have responded one way or the other.
I made suggestions, so I need to then validate that Stefan's not a bad actor here, pretending to merge my suggestions in, and then approve it. It sounds like.
Okay. I'm just having a look for that one. Where's interfaces? What number is it?
It's 141. I'm dropping a link into the doc.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah, I think that was one that I was pretty much okay with. Then
my suggestion is still pending, Stefan. I'm suggesting the bad actor going on here.
Okay.
It's the last one at the bottom. I removed the notification send grid receiver from the scope of the group because no one's using it anymore, and it's super, super old.
Yep.
But then I'm happy to approve.
Where is it? I don't find it actually. The last comments were by Ryan Moran regarding the list of approvers for the build packs. I adapted that.
Try going into the files changed view. I see it at the bottom of the files changed view because it's looking. The files change is showing the diff of the whole PR, and then it's like there's actually still a potential diff on the diff sitting at the very bottom of the files changed view. That's how that's how I found it, because I was just reviewing the files changed. So other people see that, right? That's not just like.
I don't see that.
No,
What?
I'm not seeing that.
I see all conversations as closed.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't understand. What are these things that are happening? There's like a pending comment. I don't know. All right, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to get that through.
Yeah, I mean, all looks good to me.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether I should vote +1. Technically, I can, but since I wrote most of the stuff, it's a bit strange. Eric can't vote, but did it as a comment. So yeah, it's not so easy. But we should get our, I don't know, how much votes do we need? 3 + 1s, and we should be fine. Yeah, if there's anything to do, David, just let me know, and sure, I can adapt it. But I don't see anything.
All right, I think I actually just finished my review suggesting a change that was probably sitting in a draft state in my account. I know how to do this.
Okay, then
I'm now
not
you
able
can
to
see the change.
Okay, yeah, now I see it.
Yep, now I see it as well. Notifications, okay.
Aha, yes.
Send grid. So it's basically remove send grid, and that's it.
Exactly. It was small. I just wanted to make sure I actually figured out how to use this correctly.
Should I do it right away and then we vote and
sure,
that's it?
Sure, do it.
Yeah. Okay, then I will just go there.
Okay. Cool. So hopefully that should go through quite quickly then now. As a very quick update, the vulnerability management working group, I've opened that this afternoon here / this morning in the US for everyone to have a review of. So I will request some reviewers in on there, but it's content that myself and Paul have been working on, so it should be fairly straightforward, that one. So I'll just add in.
That sounds good. One of the things that's interesting there is I think Paul wants to get out of that responsibility of being part of the vulnerability management group. So we like actually need to find someone who's interested in taking that on. I mean, we can build the working group independently of any members. However, it will not be successful with 0 members.
This is true.
Ah, no, there's another. Okay, that's outdated. Ah, I'm running mad.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to move the community experience working group forward at all. I think some of the folks on the VMware side that would be good candidates to be involved with that. They were out for a bit, but I think they're back now. So continue to try to move that forward.
And as I just posted in chat, the services working group is ready. Marcel and we submitted it for review. And I can't tag Eric as a reviewer because he's the creator of the PR. So if I can get some other people to take a look at it, that would be great. See if you see anything obviously that we're forgetting or over including there.
Okay, cool. I'll have a look through on that one. So it all looks pretty good as far as I can see. I don't think there's going to be anything too controversial in there at all. Okay. And
Lee, was that you on the vulnerability management?
it was me.
PR. Do you really want to include someone's email address?
Well, Paul did in the document. That's the only thing. So it's one of these slightly awkward ones where, I
wonder if GitHub will obfuscate it, and I don't think so. I don't think it'll do it this way where the bots can't find it. But he's a cloudfoundry.org email. Maybe he can like redirect that to dev null if he wants to, right?
Yeah.
Monty's like a VMware email, and I'm like, no.
I can strip those out without any problem. We're using GitHub tags for everybody pretty much, apart from in this particular group.
Exactly.
Can
you track down people's GitHub? See, like I'm reviewing your changes on this phone call instead of like pushing the big green button that says review changes. So I could click review changes and type in those comments.
Yeah, I can see if I can track them down, certainly. Or actually, what I'll probably do is ask Paul. It seems the more sensible way to go.
Oh, okay. Working group interfaces, second run. Please vote now. Everything is in, I would say. I even fixed the execution lead, which was TBD. TBD is not nice when we merge something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my approval's still in there from before. Eric's in text is there.
Stefan, I see something about Gareth J. Evans for autoscaler, like a pending suggestion that never got merged. This one's not from me, so it's not going to be a draft one. As I go into like the files changed view for app runtime interfaces and scroll down, I see one unresolved suggestion about autoscaler to get rid of TBD and replace it with Gareth J. Evans.
I think I edit. I don't see an unresolved. And the auto scaler.
Does it still have TBD?
I don't see that.
Autoscaler has 7 approvers.
All right. Okay. So if anybody wants to know what you can do wrong here, there's like a changes from all commits versus you can see just a subset of the changes applied. So even when you think you're in that files changed view because you want to get rid of all the conversation and just show what the thing is about to change, you still have an option to not show all of the commits on top of each other.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking now directly on the branch in Eric's original repo, and that one should be the truth, I would say.
And I'm looking like halfway through the PR instead of all the way through in it historically. So that dropdown is not a good dropdown. Do not play with that dropdown. I'm not sure how I got there. Don't do it.
Okay. So technically, being at 4 people that have voted for this one, you can merge away.
Okay, I will do so.
And we'll review services again next time and merge it because I just opened it up, so we can't merge that one today, even if everybody agrees.
So it's in. We have one more working group set up. Wow, that one was difficult, at least for me.
Oh, sorry, excuse me a second.
I know Lee's gone for a second. I believe we are done with the check-ins on working groups. Huge success. Eric is saying community experience is going to be a while still. Vulnerability management is basically ready to go for next time, and services ready to go for next time. So we're getting real close to done. What are we on to now? Support for working groups?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
What do we want to talk about in support for working groups?
So my thinking was it was just a continuation of where we had been. If that's no longer required, then we can skip it in that case. Partially it's there because of my absence for the past couple of weeks.
I have some stuff for the support for working groups. So it would be nice to have like some sort of bot account owned by the foundation, because we're currently the automation I'm using is using the Bosch bot, but that seems a bit weird when we're starting to share this across, like if we're gonna use it to use it as a stale bot as well, right, to close issues across all sorts of repos. Or that's going to be opt-in, but I mean, like, it would be nice to have a foundation owned bot account, I guess, for that.
What's the solution there? Do we like actually just sign up for a GitHub account? It's like it has to be like you can't use like deploy keys or anything for this, right? Because those are too tied to a repo.
No, so we need a new user or account, but just with a bot name, basically. And then and the credentials should probably be owned by the foundation or stored by the foundation, and then we just need a GitHub key, generate like a personal access token for that bot, and then we're going to use that in the pipelines.
That makes a ton of sense. Chris, could you do a cloudfoundry.org email address and sign up for like a bot account, share the credentials with any leads who want it?
Yeah, I'll start out. I'll just create a new user. I don't know, GitHub bots at cloudfoundry.org or something like that. And then I'll share that with Ruben, and he can then log in and set up a GitHub account for any bots that would be needed.
Yeah, that works.
Cool.
Also had before this call, had a call with Jeff from the app runtime, I think, working group, and onboarded them to the project's automation. So they're going to test drive that as well. It's now not Terraform specific anymore. We have like one big YAML file that's going to drive everything. So we'll create a pull request once I have feedback from them. Like, we're iterating on this in my private repo for now, but we'll create a repo to move it onto the community once we have that bots account, and yeah, a bit more mileage on it.
Yes, I could imagine that the interfaces working group wants to join sooner or later as well, right? Because nobody wants to invent the same again. I mean, this is a very, very good work.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't have it merged into the main repo, and people can just make a pull request to add their config for their own working groups. There was also that PR from Eric with the to have like an index or something. How should we contribute data there? I just left a comment there, but
Ruben, if you can suggest specific changes there, that would be great. Then I can merge those in, and then I'll add sections there for the new working groups as they get approved. But if we stabilize there, maybe with app runtime interfaces and services management, then we should just merge that in so that it's present and we can add other info incrementally to it.
Yeah. And then how are we dealing with, like, what's the expectation with communication? Like, we're now doing a project board per area, and each area actually also has its own Slack channel, right? But is there the expectation that like a working group has its like a global channel, or can we keep the existing channels?
I think we can just keep the existing channels for now. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. If we find that there's a need for something to coordinate the broader working group, then we could create a channel. But I think as long as we have pointers to channels that cover all of the areas, that seems like it's good enough for now. We can also use the TOC channel for some amount of that coordination. And if it just gets unwieldy, then we can move it somewhere else.
So as far as working group support, I did a few things last week. I just want to double check and make sure I did them as we had envisioned. So I created a couple of groups for the foundational infrastructure and app runtime platform working groups. I created a team for just all the approvers, and then another team nested with higher permissions for the 1 or 2 leads. So I set those up. I think that's what we had discussed. I did also, and I'm not sure if I was supposed to do this as a comment in the Slack, made me think maybe we hadn't decided on this yet, but I created an initial working group just called Working Group Leads, and I gave that right access to the community repository. Was I not supposed to do that yet? Or
that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
okay,
talking about
good.
like, right, we want a team for the leads. We want that team to be enabled to like edit whatever they want.
Right.
inside the
Okay, cool.
community.
So yeah, that team as of right now, they just have write access to the community repository. That's the only thing it grants them, but that can be adjusted. So that's all set. And set up Zoom calls for those two groups as well. So those should automatically happen, automatically record. And I'll try and attend the first few of those for sure. And then we're moving various repositories from the incubator over to Cloud Foundry. Moved a whole bunch for foundational infrastructure. Ruben, did that break anything? Did that seem to work pretty well? We moved like 30 repositories over.
I've only heard from Cryogenics about some breakage.
Okay.
It was mostly about their access rights being revoked, because with the move we only ended up with the approvers and the
Right.
So it was mostly their bot, right? So I gave access to their bot again, so they can start merging PRs using that bot. I think that makes sense.
Perfect.
It's not specifically called out in any of the charter documents, right? But I assume that we can still have bot accounts to do like auto bumping of dependencies without like, yeah.
I would think so. But yeah, that's great. So you've got admin rights to all those repositories. So if people start if things start breaking, you can just give people back the access. That's what I was hoping. So that's great.
Yeah.
And then move for the other group. There's only a couple of repositories like HA proxy and a couple others. People are a little nervous about moving things over, about breaking them. So I told them, I wouldn't make anyone move anything over, but I guess I don't have a completely clear sense of the Go Fetcher app, the code.cloudfoundry.org, exactly how that works. And if there's any issues with that. I know that VMware's, I believe, still running that instance of that app somewhere that makes that work. I know that GitHub does URL forwarding very well if you just move stuff over. So I'm not exactly sure what the issues that we'll encounter I don't know full context into like that app and how it works. But if there's any issues, I assume someone at VMware can tweak that app or something. But I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We built that so that because Golang, you put the name of the repository in your code, right? So it's like the worst possible scenario where you're like, let's take the name of a repo, fully qualified URL essentially to a repository, and just put it in tons of code bases and tons of files everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is a bad pattern. And so we did the code redirect to solve that. I think that is a reasonable assumption, Chris. I don't know how to edit that, but I believe we could find somebody who did. So let's assume that if those repos links start breaking, we can get them updated. So don't let this stop you, right? Like go break everything and ideally break everything all at once as quickly as possible, rather than like over the next 5 weeks, you're like repos are moving slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what we did like with the foundational infrastructure thing. Like Chris sent me a message like, can I move these things? And then I was in a stand-up, so I asked, can we do this? Are we ready to deal with the fallout? And it's like, yeah, we're gonna deal with the fallout. And then all the things were moved. It was more of a ripping off the bandit.
Okay, gotcha. Yes, some people in the other working group were a little nervous about moving. Well, I think it was just AJ proxy, but there's one other repo that no one's commented on. I think it's not an important one, but okay, I'll encourage them to just reach out. I guess who would be the contact person then if we do need to get someone who can update the running app code.cloudfoundry.org?
I think you can use me because I'm going to be up, I'm in the right time zone for if you break anything today, then probably the people that know how to fix this are going to be in the US. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think if we're, the GoFetch app was designed explicitly to seamlessly accommodate those promotions from Incubator to the main Cloud Foundry org. So I wouldn't expect it would have any problems, especially if we're not changing a repo name to move it over.
Right.
So that should all just work fine, I would expect.
Okay.
One question, how do you handle the access rights to these repos? Because for at least I know a few repos where the access rights are broader in Incubator than they are supposed to be according to our working group definitions. What do you do there?
Well, I assume people who lose access that need it will make noise and we can give them back access. But I don't see a better way than that.
Yeah. Just want to understand
Yeah.
because then I can also
Yeah.
talk upfront with Greg about it. I have 2 repositories in mind where we are
Okay.
pretty active at the moment, but
Sure.
we will find a solution, I guess.
Cool. So that sounds like the working groups operations side support, so all in hand then in that case. Has anyone got anything else to add for this week?
There was a little bit more criticism of the plan to do stem cells every 4 years instead of 2 years, saying that like it's hard for the US government to certify operating systems except they're super old ones. So, which is an interesting criticism, right? Like you have to run an older operating system so that it works for us, but it can't be too old because then it doesn't work for us. I am inclined to say that's nice, but like we don't have the energy and resources right now to do every 2 years. So that's the argument I'm going to make. At some point, it's going to come down to us deciding whether we want to do it every 2 years, every 4 years. So like this is this community discussion is a courtesy, and we can make a decision. But I do want to delay that decision a little bit longer in this group and like make it more officially. So I'll like go back and forth with them a bit more and explain the reasoning and so on. Hopefully I can get any naysayers to like agree that it's totally fine. If not, we can decide to either vote them out or not vote them out. But I do want an explicit decision on this one with you all. I just don't think I've actually gone back and forth enough. I thought I had, and then more people like had more opinions. All right, fine. So I'm going to leave that thread open because it is important. It has consequences for everybody. So I'll give it till another week or two, and then I'll put forward a vote with this group, so we have an official record.
There's also an official name now.
Yes.
Jellyfish.
Yeah, that's another problem. Jammy jellyfish.
It's not the worst name out.
Debatable.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like there's been a huge amount of pushback then, just US government.
Yeah, like 2 people. There's 2 different concerns, but it's mostly about like we should do this more frequently, and are we sure we're going to be able to do it? And those are legitimate concerns. I think I'm less worried about, are we going to be able to do it with the jammy than are we going to be able to do it 4 years from the jammy? But that does sound like a problem for 4 years from the jammy.
Growing on me, the jammy.
Okay. Cool.
I'm also still waiting for a proposal to either use the shimmed build packs only or not. And I'm working back and forth with some people over there.
When you say the
that work on build
shimmed
packs.
build pack.
V3, the cloud native build packs. Can we shim cloud native? It really comes down to, are we going to be able to get it done in time to support Jammy? Because remember, Jammy's on a schedule. And then secondly, like, is the shim actually a good idea and going to work in general? Can you successfully cram X into Y? And I think the answer to that is yes, but they're not sure and they're going to own the problem. And then the scheduling is like also a different issue, and I need them to like weigh in on whether like, is that going to add a year to the process? If that adds a year to the process, then we go out of support before we get the Jammy, and nobody wants that. All right, Jammy's starting to grow on me too now. Have a good time with this.
Yeah, I mean, my personal view is I think getting, V3 build packs, going the cloud native route adds an awful lot of value.
It depends. Like if you ship the shim as the product, it adds interesting value because you can create arbitrary new build pack compositions of layers. If you ship a set of replacement build packs as the product, that's an implementation detail. Like in fact, people won't want it because it's disruptive, but not not materially different, like not extremely different. But if you ship something that's open and you can compose new versions and layers together, that's interesting, I think. I think they would go with that. It's just a question of like, how hard is the shim? Is the shim really designed as an internal mechanism to save us on maintenance costs, which still might be worth doing? Or is the shim like something that somebody could actually figure out how to use to create new layered versions?
Mm.
And they don't really know if they can shim it effectively either. So like, I think that's the first question. And then the second question is, who's the shim for?
Interesting. Just doing that. Oh, okay. It was Pete. We're on that one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just have a look at what we've got at the moment then. So just to sum up actions as they stand at the moment. So Eric's to continue moving forward with the community experience working group PR. There's a review for the service management working group charter and a review for the vulnerability management working group charter. I've contacted Paul to get hold of GitHub handles. So I've pinged him already. So I can update with that as soon as I've got them. And they're all the actions we've got down so far. Has anyone got anything else? Because if not, we may as well gain 25 minutes then in that case.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks. See you later. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
See
All.
you.
Cheers.
Bye.